Hey everyone, what's going on? What's going on? It's actually Monday night. I'm doing my podcast on Monday, February the 4th. February the 4th, be with you, right? Oatmeal cookie. Oatmeal with raisins. How about that? Huh? How's everyone doing, huh? Well, I kind of partied hard Friday night, Saturday, so I took it easy yesterday. And I'm just taking it easy today as well. I just cooked some nice pasta, Actually, what happened was yesterday, as you know, was Superbowl, right? Last night. So, oh man, what a game! Like it was kind of boring. Everybody says the 53rd Super Bowl between Patriots and Rams. So basically, I knew that Patriots were going to win, anyways. It was a joke that Rams actually made it to Super Bowl, right? What a joke! But my sister was here at my place, and another family friend, she actually came here with her daughter. So everybody was vowing for Rams, and I'm like, "Are you guys out of your mind? It's impossible that Rams would win." And I knew that it was just going to happen, and that's what happened. Patriots won. Tom Brady got his sixth title, right? Of Super Bowl. So there you go. That guy is so fucking old, man. I think he should retire, right? Tom Brady? I think he should. But he's still playing, so there you go. Oh, by the way, yeah, I forgot to cut my beard. I didn't get a chance to go to the barber shop, which I'm going to do this weekend, or maybe tomorrow morning. I get up early, and then there's a barber shop where actually I drop off my laundry as well. So maybe I can just drop off my laundry and just go to the barber shop next doors, get a haircut, as well as have my beard trimmed, right? It's freaking growing, dude. It's fucking growing. In any case, so how is everyone doing, huh? Monday night, how is your week going, by the way, huh? Well, the week has just started. Are you, all you working people out there, right? Monday usually is not one of the pleasant days of the week, as opposed to a Friday, right? Because Friday comes and you're so happy that you just want to go home and just relax or whatever the hell you want to do, right? And then when Monday comes, like Monday morning, it's like, yeah, but you're half awake, half like asleep. Well, I didn't have a lot of sleep last night, although Friday night and Saturday night I had enough sleep. So I gotta catch up on that one. Yeah, so that was a great game. So I did cook some food last night as well. I did like a stew, chicken stew, And the ladies, they brought some bread and there we go. And yeah, it was a great time, It was a great time, although the match was not that exciting, Super Bowl, but it was okay. And the halftime show of Maroon 5, oh man, it was just like a bunch of like dudes, like, I don't know, singing sentimental songs. I don't know. It wasn't that as exciting as it was supposed to be, right? But in any case, so it's gone, it's over. So Super Bowl is over. Whatever the hell you guys did, right? I'm pretty sure you all had fun, so there we go. So wait another year for next year for another Super Bowl, right? Well, it's 10:15 p.m. at night, and I don't want to go on and on. So I'm going to do a brief podcast, although I got a lot of great topics I want to talk about. In my notes, in my cheat sheet, as you all know, I usually do. So basically, this week just started busy. I started a little late today, actually, but you know how Mondays are. Unless I have a meeting that I had to go to, or a site that I had to go to, construction site, then I don't usually get up early, super early. So, but then I was after I had dinner, I was working on my computer because I had to do some spreadsheets for my employees. The timesheet and all that. So I was doing that, and then I uploaded that to my company's website. So here I am. Now I'm doing my podcast, right? There you go. Besides the Super Bowl, right, at the day of, or after the day of Super Bowl, or night of Super Bowl, Sunday night, today, what we had in New York City? We had like temperatures in the 50s. I'm like, holy shit. Too fucking warm for this time of the year, which is like a spoiler alert, because then it's going to go down to the 20s, and then basically we are back to goddamn frozen ass weather in New York, right? Exactly. So I'm kind of not fond of these like warm days, unusually warm days, for obvious reasons that I just stated without repeating myself. But it's nice to have some warm days after that goddamn golden, is that what you call it? Golden. Goddamn cold week we had last week, I believe, where the temperatures were basically down below zero, minus some shit, right? Minus like 7, -8, where the hell it was. But in any case, so yeah, I was out Friday and Saturday morning. Actually, I went out because I just couldn't sleep, so I went out. Then yesterday I just took it easy, super well. Looking ahead, I think the temperatures are still going to be warmer, at least for the next couple of days, I believe. If not for the rest of the week, but I don't want to sound like a weatherman. But, us people who live in a place like New York, which is pretty much very cold, during winter, it just makes us excited. Makes us excited to see such a warm weather day, right, or night. So yeah, it was nice actually. I went to work, in a sports jacket. Shirt, and I had one of those, like, not cardigan, but one of those jerseys that I had from Uniqlo, I guess, right? So so that's what it is here in New York. So people are happy. There's warm weather. I'm like, just calm it down, okay? Just calm the F down, calm the fuck down, because this is going to go down again, back to the teens, and you'll be then crying again, right? But regardless, maybe you should smile now, thinking that you had to cry again, right? When dealing with the goddamn cold weather in New York. But there was a cold, like a whole cold wave, from Antarctica, from the north, from Canada, from Midwest all the way to Northeast. So that's what the grip was, and finally the grip was broken, I believe Saturday morning. Finally temperature rose above 0 degrees, and we had a break, finally, right? So I don't want to go on and on about, again, weather, but Superbowl, and then down in Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta, hot Atlanta, is that what it is? And then we got this warm weather, so that's good. I mean, I was already on the side of Patriots. I mean, I usually don't take any sides, but I mean, you have to have a team, right? You have to have a team. So I guess Patriots being from Northeast, so I basically, they were my team, right? Yeah, so, and then I was listening to, during the week, I was listening to Joe Rogan. Oh, yeah, he brought, what's his name? Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey, as you all know, he's the CEO or co-founder of Twitter. I'm pretty sure many of you use Twitter, or if even if you don't use it, I'm pretty sure you heard about it. I do go on Twitter once in a while. I rant on Twitter, but I rant for a reason. Yeah, so basically Joe Rogan, without digressing, about social media and its own problems among millennials, right? That's a whole different topic to be discussed in another time, right? I don't have time to discuss social habits of millennials while, being on social media. It's their problem, it's not my fucking problem, so what can I do, right? Exactly. So yeah, Jack Dorsey, and that was a great podcast, and they were talking about how Twitter started and what actually was the thought and the brand behind something like Twitter, which is now, it's like a gigantic social media platform. And according to them, the Twitter people, including Jack Dorsey, obviously this is not what they were thinking about, right? But in any case, yeah, that was interesting. You guys can look it up. You can always watch Joe Rogan's podcast. He does his video podcast on YouTube. So if you type in Joe Rogan, I'm pretty sure you will find, right? Just like you can find me. Oh no, it's so good. Oatmeal. Yeah, you can find me if you type in YouTube "cooking so simple," just one word, and then you'll see my channel, right, where I post my, obviously, podcasts and the cooking videos for most part. Although I might do some traveling videos as well, not sure yet, but primarily I think I want to focus on podcasts, right? Cooking, obviously, I love cooking when I'm cooking. So I'm pretty sure you all relate to my some of my videos, my cooking videos, per se. I mean, cooking is great if you have time. Although I don't buy that bullshit. People say, "Oh, I don't have time." No, that's bullshit. You have time to go to the restaurant or whatever the hell, you spend 15 minutes on social media. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go on social media, or maybe you shouldn't. Just stop wasting your time. Maybe do some cooking, right? But some people actually don't like to cook. I guess that's their own lifestyle, and nobody can force them to cook, right? Well, if I could, I would force them to cook instead of eating McDonald's, right? No, I wouldn't. Sorry, I'm just having oatmeal. Um, I know it's kind of rude to actually talk while eating, right? But that's okay, right? Um, yeah, so we are already into February of 2019, and this year is going to go so fucking fast that you guys won't believe it just came and it just went by, right? That's what's going to happen. And so you better, make the most of it as much as you can, sir, madam, or any other whatever gender associates out of the gazillion genders we have right now, right? That you associate yourself with. And just like we have all kinds of like people with food preferences, there's vegan, there is, a group of people who only eat fish, they don't eat chicken or red meat or any other meat, and then there are people who don't even eat anything. Well, I mean, when I say they don't eat anything means they, I guess they just graze on the plants, right? Is that what it is? Herbivores? Yeah. I don't think human beings can just be herbivores because our body needs more than plants. It needs carbs, it needs proteins, besides the vitamins and all that in plants, right? I mean, obviously plants and vegetables and all that, that's a healthy diet, but I think we also need proteins. I mean, if you are a vegan or if you are a vegetarian, you could say that, oh, you are into, beans and all that, chickpeas and all that good stuff that provides you with all kinds of protein, right? I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not either, so bear with me. All you vegans and all you liberal vegetarians out there. But at some point in time, I think I will have to cut down or just not eat meat. It's just so hard, I guess, because we are now so much used to eating meat, when actually we can make an impact on this planet by not eating meat, right? Global warming and all that, I have talked about this like gazillion times in all my podcasts in the past, and I don't want to repeat myself, right? No, I shouldn't. So yeah, the other thing that one of my engineers, actually, he was mentioning it. Oh, Chinese New Year, right? So it's Chinese Lunar Year. Apparently, it just started, I think. Let's see, Chinese Lunar Year, right? Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year in February. Oh, I see. So that's Tuesday, February 5th. So I think which is tomorrow. Holy shit. Okay, so if you go to CNN.com, right? Takes you to CNN.com, it says Lunar New Year, 11 things to know. Okay. What are those 11 things to know? Locals don't call it Chinese New Year. In China, the festivities are known as Spring Festival or Lunar New Year. There you go, from January to mid-February, right? Late January to mid-February, Vietnam. Traffic and chaos, etc. Read more. It's not just one day, it's the season of superstitions. Obviously, Eastern philosophy and Eastern cultures, I'm pretty sure, have a lot of lot of superstitions and beliefs, right? Oh, this is a very interesting one. You can rent a boyfriend. I guess if you are a lady, it says Lunar New Year can be rough for singles, especially females. Many family reunions. What the fuck am I saying? Many family reunions, are highlighted by dreaded interrogation. Oh god, no, I don't want to go there. Forget it. So it goes on and on. I mean, there's an article on CNN.com that talks about Lunar New Year. So basically, you can eat all that good Asian food and be part of the festivities, right? I'm pretty sure here in New York, Chinatown has a lot of festivities going on. A lot of tourists. I'm assuming, given that the weather is also better, it's not cold. So there you go. That's a perfect time for a Chinese New Year, a Lunar New Year, a spring festival to be had, right? Okay, so that was my take on the Lunar Festival, which again is tomorrow on Tuesday, February the 5th. There you go. Yeah, so that's that was my take on that one. Although it wasn't part of my cheat sheet, I just realized that, oh, wait a minute. I mean, this is an event that happens in New York, not only in New York but all over the globe. East Asia, obviously, he has the biggest festival, right? I'm assuming, right? So just go out there, enjoy your time, right? And yeah, all that good Asian food. All the Chinese food, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Chinese food. I would rather go with like Vietnamese or maybe like Thai, you know. Although sometimes I do have a craving for Chinese food. Who doesn't, right? And no, never take out Chinese food from those takeout places, man. No, no, never do that. Those places, I don't know, man. Those places, I don't know how they do cooking, what they use, I don't know. Never. Um, and it's not only those takeout places. I'm pretty sure there are other restaurants too, which have similar issues, right? But people do, eat that stuff. I guess it's better than McDonald's. I'm not sure. Takeout Chinese is like Asian McDonald's, right? Is that what it is? I think so. But in any case, I don't want to go on and on about that. And I just mentioned this because of the timing, right? And it's interesting that many cultures around the world celebrate or have festivities to celebrate based on their traditions and whatever it was, right, back in the days. I'm pretty sure Lunar New Year has a history or has some sort of a base, just like the Zoroastrians celebrate in March, or the what do you call the Halloween in October, or and shit like that in the Western world, right? And then I'm pretty sure there are pagan holidays, pagan festivals. I'm pretty sure they are all over the world, right? I think paganism is coming back. I have a feeling. I mean, it's already here, so for me to say it's coming back is redundant, right? Exactly. So Um, I'm just wondering, what's going to happen 50 years down the road to all these traditions? Do you think they will all die out? Many will, I think, because everything is now technology and media, social media, and all that. So I think new traditions are going to emerge as part of the technology. I think they're going to be, I don't know, computer shows, robot festival, AI festival, some shit like that, right? Um, Although there are groups here in New York that do their own festivals, they bring in like these amazing musicians and DJs, and they do costumes and they go all night and all that. So there you go. That's also part of the festivals here in New York. New York has obviously has a lot of population. It has a lot of diverse um, events that happen here. Depending on what you are into. If you are into music, you want to listen to some music, you can go to some underground event, or you can just go to some jazz event, or if you're going on a date, that's what I would do after dinner. I'd go to some jazz, right? Um, but if you want to go to Bolshevik, and if you're single or just dudes night out, just go out there, or Williamsburg, or wherever the hell you want to hang out, right? Yeah, so people get excited. The winter is almost over. Well, it's not over. Winter is. Oh, by the way, yeah. So speaking of which, yeah, winter is not over. We don't know. It's very unpredictable. Oh, so in Pennsylvania, you guys know they do the Groundhog Day, right? I think it just happened. So groundhog comes out of the ground, and if it goes back to the ground, that means that it's a long ass winter. And if it doesn't go back, then it's going to be a mild winter, a short winter. Is that what it is? I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. Hold on a second. Because that's what these guys were doing today. Groundhog Day 2019. Here we go. Groundhog Day 2019. What the F? Punxsutawney. Phil did not see shadow. Oh, so that's the name of the groundhog. Predicts early spring. Okay, so did not see the shadow. Here we go. So it's not about the hog going back into the ground, but the Groundhog Day is basically Pennsylvania's most famous groundhog did not see his shadow on Saturday, predicting spring will arrive early this year. So okay, so there you go. So if groundhog does not see its shadow, that means that the winter will be a shorter winter, right? Which I don't believe that that's the case. And it's kind of like funny, also funny, and it's very, I don't know, I mean, is it scientifically proven that that's the case? That when groundhog doesn't see his or her shadow, then it won't be a bad winter. Yeah, but I think that's just some sort of like a superstition, I believe. I have a feeling. Groundhog loves records cross-referenced by the Starfax Almanac's weather data. Phil has only been accurate in his weather predictions about 39%. Okay, so there you go. Statistically, it's not proven. It's only, correct for his prediction of the weather 39%, which is not really significant, right? So there you go. It's all like superstition. I would rather believe in mathematical models that predict the weather than the groundhog, right? So yeah, so that was also interesting. I think that Mr. Groundhog, whatever the hell his name is, Pankastataputabweni, whatever the hell it is, right, would predict a shorter winter this year. Again, which I don't fucking believe. I can only believe what I would see based on what the scientific data says, right? Yeah, so that was my take on that. Since we were talking about weather, so I guess what the hell? So my podcast became like half of the time like discussing goddamn weather. Speaking of which, you know what? It's already 30 minutes, so why don't we just get into our cheat sheet, right? Ladies and gents, and every other gender associate. I don't have a lot of topics, but I have some great topics I want to talk about. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you relate to that, right? So, yeah, I think I have actually realized that somehow I had been out of the music scene, and somehow, music is very important for our well-being. You're out there, you listen to some good music, you talk to people, socialize, etc., etc. And just don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. So I think that actually gives your inner, whatever the hell it's called. I don't want to name the names. Your whatever inner self is, it somehow gets some sort of when you're listening to some good music, it receives somehow a feed that it needs once in a while. So I think that's what I wanted to say, that beautiful music is actually somehow related to our well-being of our inner being. Is that what I meant to say? Inner being. And with that, I want to start my first topic, which is eggs with anti-cancer drugs. Okay, so this was an article somewhere I read, right? So the scientists and these doctors, I think they have come up with somehow injecting some sort of an anti-cancer drug into chicken, and then the chicken lays the egg. Is that what it is? And that egg contains anti-cancer drug. So the technology actually is going in some weird way, which is actually in some good ways, for the betterment of the people who are suffering from cancer, right? So there you go. I mean, I don't want to give you guys the wrong information, but this is an interesting article. Eggs with anti-cancer drugs. There you go. So the chickens lay eggs that have anti-cancer drugs in them. There you go. There you go. There you go. Right. All right. My next topic is Fyre Festival. Fyre, Fyre Festival. Right. So apparently this has been a disaster. So Fyre Festival was supposed to be this music and gathering festival, right? With all kinds of celebrities invited, and they were going to build this whole island into some sort of a heaven for a week. I guess that's what it was. And apparently people who actually flew in there, in private jets and all that, they were shocked and they were in awe because the festival was a disaster. So if you read the article somewhere, you can even Google it, FYRE Fyre Festival. It has been a disaster apparently. And some people were basically tweeting, I think they were out there and they were like, this is a total disaster. There's no organization. Nobody knows where to go. So basically, a total fuck up on the side of the organizers, whoever organized that. Apparently, the guy who organized all this and duped people was arrested, I think. So yeah, that was a disaster, Fyre Festival. You can look it up. Again, FYRE Fyre Festival. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you what happened. But it was a disaster. Apparently, it was a fucking disaster. YouTube videos critique Star Wars, the new Star Wars, which I kind of agree with whoever actually critiques them. That some of the acting, the actors, some of the lines, and the way Star Wars is depicted in the newer sequels are the anthology movies is trying to figure out who was what is sort of like anti this notion of Star Wars original that okay, so this is what it is. Well, obviously Darth Vader came from somewhere, and Luke apparently was found to be his son, etc., etc. But there was no need to find out or let the audience know who or where every character from the Star Wars came from. That was the whole point. That the whole notion of the original trilogy, sequel trilogies was that it was just a story that actually started from timeline A to timeline C or D, right? And what happened before timeline A or time after timeline D has been what the new directors and the producers have been trying to show to the public, which is kind of goes against this whole idea of Star Wars, I think. Although all you Star Wars fans out there probably don't agree with the person who is posting these videos on YouTube, right? In any case, so that was my take on that. That was interesting. Some of the things he says is pretty funny, as well as it's pretty true. I do agree with many of the things he says. So you can look it up on YouTube. Something like that Last Jedi was a disaster, or Last Jedi was should have been cancelled. Something like that. Google it, and you'll come across this dude's videos, which are very interesting. And with that said, beating the shit out of Star Wars. Haven't we all already, right? I don't know. I feel like I should actually just walk away and sometimes go to Skya, whatever the hell it is, right? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Next topic: Australia, record high temperatures. Okay, so this is what happened. So apparently this year, since as you all know, Australia is below equator, so while we are having winter here in New York, Australians are having summer, and it's a pretty damn disastrous summer for them. So if you Google Australian weather, so apparently Australian weather, and then there were monsoons, Australian weather. So basically, they're having a lot of problems with heat, and they're not used to, right? So, uh, so this year has been one of the hottest years for Australia, apparently, which is obvious, right? Because we are experiencing global warming. So, although Trump, I think, said, "Oh, look, it's so cold in Midwest, and you guys are talking about global warming." Obviously, the scientists are saying that that doesn't mean that every town is going to be experiencing warm temperatures, so there would be fluctuations in cold and warm and all that, you know. So that what becomes part of the global weather change, right? I think I said this many times on my podcast that yes, the global climate change is real. It is, and many people are actually working on it, although not as drastically as the governments and the organization around the world should be, um, as per the weather data that we are listening to, we have been listening to, reading about, in the all the events from hurricanes on a larger scale to goddamn California wildfires and all that bullshit, right? All right, so that was my take on that. So Australians are suffering obviously because of record high temperature, and Australia has a lot of land. It has a lot of land, and it's very tropical. Or is that semi-tropical or tropical? Whatever the hell it is, right? It has a lot of dry land too, which depends on, I think, rain and all that. If it doesn't rain and there are fires and all that, right? I think they have the same fucking problems that we sometimes do in California. That said, it's already 42 minutes, ladies and gents, and every other gender associates. And my last topic, Superbowl, which I again beat to death. That was a great game, although it was kind of boring. Not a lot of competition, which is good for a Sunday night, right? Because then you can go home and just sleep, whatever, right? But some of the advertisements were interesting, although not very exciting, as I think people were expecting or speculating, right? So with that said, I'm going to close my podcast, and I presume you all are having a great start of the week, right? And I'll talk to you all next Saturday or Sunday.